Bhakta-Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 30, Text 30. We're going to continue reading the description. Evam kutumbam vibrana udaram vara evava visrij ye ho bhayam pretya bhute tatpalam idrisham. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After leaving this body, the man who maintained himself and his family members by sinful activities suffers a hellish life, and his relatives suffer also. The mistake of modern civilization is that man does not believe in the next life. But whether he believes or not, the next life is there, and one has to suffer if one does not lead a responsible life in terms of the injunctions of authoritative scriptures like the Vedas and Puranas. So we may not believe in something, but just because of our belief, we can't change the fact. Because we can't see these things happening. We can't see how the soul is leaving the body.
Your voice is disappearing.
The voice is not there? Is that okay now?
Now it's okay, but in between it, yeah.
Oh, the connection is not very stable today, seems like. Okay. Just give me a moment. Let me see if I can do something about it. Well, let's see. So you see what happens is, yeah. So it's just because now it's okay. Thank you. So because we can't see the soul leaving the body and the Yamadutas and then the punishment by Yamaraj. So we think, no, it's all fake, We are so used to reading fiction. When we see movies, it's all fiction. A lot of books are all fiction. So we tend to think, the Vedas, the Vedic scriptures is also fiction, it's just somebody's imagination. But no, the Vedic scriptures are not fiction. They are speaking about the truth. And they're speaking for us so that we don't need to suffer, so that we can be happy. And whether we believe in something or no, it can never change the fact. The truth is always going to remain the truth. My belief in it is not going to change it. That is what we have to understand. Whether I believe there is a soul or no, the fact is there is a soul. Whether I believe that there is hellish planets or the fact is the hellish planets are there. The fact is that if we commit sinful activities, then we will be subjected to these sinful reactions. So species lower than human beings are not responsible for their actions because they are made to act in a certain way. But in developed life of human consciousness, if one is not responsible for his activities, then he is sure to get hellish life as described herein. So animals are not responsible for their karma, because their scope or their independence is so less, is barely any independence. It's just the modes are so strong, they just act based on the body. They have no independence. So karma, we are collecting in this human life. When we are in the human body, that's where we can choose how to act sinfully or act according to scriptures. If we act sinfully, then we will get sinful reactions in our next life, or maybe this life also. Then we may become animals, and if we act in a pious way, so we say, okay, I don't want to get sinful reactions. I want to act piously. But then what happens? Just material piety is going to bring me to the heavenly planets, make me a demigod maybe. Okay, but then my time there also is temporary. It's limited. After my karma finishes for being either in the body of the animal or in the body of the demigod, I again have to come to this human life on this earthly planet again to get more karma. So the most intelligent way, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, is to act and offer all the results of the activities for the pleasure of Krishna. In this way, we don't get karma. It is called akarma or karma yoga. We act, whatever duties we need to do, we do for the pleasure of Krishna. And in that way, then we have no karma. Of course, we can't murder a person and say this is for the pleasure of Krishna. No, we have to go take guidance from the spiritual master, because he knows how to engage us in the service of Krishna. So, eka prapadyate dvantam vedam swakalevaram kushaletara patheyo bhuta drohena yadbratam. He goes alone to the darkest regions of hell after quitting the present body. And the money he acquired by envying other living entities is the passage money with which he leaves this world. When a man earns money by unfair means and maintains his family and himself with that money, the money is enjoyed by many family members, but he goes alone to hell. You know, as we were saying the other day, that Valmiki, he asked, before he became Valmiki, he asked his family members, will you all take or share in my sinful reactions? They said, sorry, we are not going to take share of your sinful activities. He said, but you're enjoying. They say, yeah, well, of course. So in the same way, we are each responsible for our sinful activities. We may act out of attachment, but the responsibility is on us. You know, we are very expert in throwing the responsibility to someone else. But just by our speaking, nothing happens. The laws of karma, no, and they're not going to listen to our arguments. The law is set, and we can't bribe. You know, in this material world, we can bribe the lawyers, bribe the judges. You're like, okay, we'll bribe our way out. No, material nature, the laws are very stringent and we can't bribe our way out. So a person who enjoys life by earning money or by envying another's life, and who enjoys with family and friends, will have to enjoy alone the resultant reactions accrued from such violent and illicit life. For example, if a man secures some money by killing someone, and with that money maintains his family, those who enjoy the black money earned by him are also partially responsible and are also sent to hell. But he who is the leader is especially punished. So the ones who are enjoying with the sinful activities, they get some sort of reaction. But the leader, the one who's actually doing the act, he gets the maximum reaction. The result of material enjoyment is that one takes with him the sinful reaction only and not the money. The money he earned is left in this world, and he takes only the reaction. That's what we don't understand, you know. For our temporary enjoyment, we are so attached. We don't understand that, oh, but I'm not going to take anything with me. So let me act properly. Our desire for sense gratification is so much that it clouds our consciousness. It's clouds. Only we see is our desire, the desire to enjoy. Not understanding that, oh, I'm just creating more and more trouble for myself. In this world also, if a person acquires some money by murdering someone, the family is not hanged, although its members are sinfully contaminated. But the man who commits the murder and maintains his family is himself hanged as a murderer. The direct offender is more responsible for sinful activities than the indirect enjoyer. The great learned scholar Chanakya Pandit says, therefore, that whatever one has in his possession had better be spent for the cause of Sat, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because one cannot take his possessions with him. So we are so attached to our possessions. We work very hard for them. We are so attached to them. But what do the scriptures say? That engage it in the service of the Supreme Lord. Chanakya Pandit, he's a great prime minister and a very scholarly person, very learned, very intelligent. And he says that whatever one has in his possession should be used for the Supreme Lord. Because anyway, we cannot take it with ourselves. We can't take anything with ourselves. They remain here and they will be lost. Either we leave the money or the money leaves us, but we will be separated. The best use of money, as long as it is within our possession, is to spend it to acquire Krishna consciousness. So if we can engage money in service of Krishna, we are being purified. Our consciousness is getting more and more cleaner. We are getting more, in that way we can get attached to Krishna. That's the idea. The whole idea is we are attached to so many different things, but our attachment should be for Krishna. We say, oh, attachment is the cause of suffering. Yes, but when attachment to Krishna is the cause of greatest happiness, so we just need to understand who should we be attached to. That's what the idea is. Because attachment to material is suffering, but attachment to Krishna, that is our natural position. So it's not that attachment is bad. It's what we are being attached to. Is the soul can never be unattached. We can never be unattached. We always are going to be attached to something or someone, some idea or something. So we just need to transfer this attachment to Krishna. And the more we hear, the more we chant his holy name, the more we will revive our attachment for him. Originally, we are completely attached to Krishna. We've just forgotten it currently. So reading on, Deve na saditam tasya ashamalam nirayepaman bhunte kutumba poshasya rita vita ivaturaha. Thus, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maintainer of kinsmen is put into a hellish condition to suffer for his sinful activities, like a man who has lost his wealth. The example set herein is that the sinful person suffers just like a man who has lost his wealth. The human form of body is achieved by the conditioned soul after many, many births and is a very valuable asset. So there are 8,400,000 species, 8,400,000, out of which only 400,000 are human beings. 8 million are other species. Only 400,000 is human beings. And it's so rare. It's so rare to get a human birth. And if we don't utilize this human body in a way that we are meant to, then we are wasting it. We are wasting it. Instead of utilizing this life to get liberation, if one uses it simply for the purpose of maintaining his so-called family and therefore performs foolish and unauthorized action, is compared to a man who has lost his wealth and who, upon losing it, laments. When wealth is lost, there is no use lamenting. But as long as there is wealth, one has to utilize it properly and thereby gain eternal profit. After we leave this body, then we will be lamenting, oh, I didn't use this body properly. But then what's the use at that moment? That moment, nobody's going to listen to us. Rather, let us right now, till the time we are in this body, use it in the service of Krishna so that we can get out of this material world, because this material world is not our permanent home. So now that we have a chance, we should utilize this body properly. It may be argued that when a man leaves his money earned by sinful activities, he also leaves his sinful activities here with his money. So someone may think, okay, this money earned, I earned it by sinful activities. Anyway, when I die, I will not be able to take the money. So the money will be left here, and my reactions are also going to be left here. No, the reactions go with us. Our consciousness, what is our mental state? Our next body is being created according to that. But it is specially mentioned herein that by superior arrangement, devena saditam, although the man leaves behind him his sinfully earned money, he carries the effect of it. When a man steals some money, if he is caught and agrees to return it, he is not freed from the criminal punishment. By the law of state, even though he returns the money, he has to undergo the punishment. Similarly, the money earned by a criminal process may be left by the man when dying, but by superior arrangement, he carries with him the effect, and therefore he has to suffer hellish life. Prabhupada is saying that even in the material world, if someone steals the money and then he goes to the police and he says, oh, I'm sorry, I stole, and here, you take it back. So, but then he's still going to be penalized, He is going to be still given the punishment for committing the act. So similarly, we may make many excuses, but the nature's laws are very stringent. They are set. Kevalena hi adharmena kutumba bhara notsukha yati jivo andha tamisram charamam tamasa padam. Therefore, a person who is very eager to maintain his family and kinsmen simply by black methods certainly goes to the darkest region of hell, which is known as Andha Tamishra. 3 words in this verse are very significant. Kevalena means only by black methods. Adharmena means unrighteous or irreligious. And Kutumba Bharana means family maintenance. Maintaining one's family is certainly the duty of a householder, but one should be eager to earn his livelihood by the prescribed method as stated in the scriptures. It's not that we don't have to maintain our family. We have to do our duty. Krishna tells Arjuna that the 4 divisions of society, 4 varnas and ashrams are created by me. And Arjuna, in fact, wanted to retire. He was saying, I'm going to give up everything, go to the forest. Krishna tells him, no, you can't do that. You do your duty. Do it in a rightful manner. Do it for my pleasure. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is described that the Lord has divided the social system into 4 classifications of castes or varnas according to quality and work. Guna, karma, vibhagasa. Krishna says this in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. He says that he is the one who's created the Varna Sharma system, dividing the society based on Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Brahmachari, Grihast, Vanaprasth, and Sannyas. So Krishna is saying, I have created this social system not based on birth. He does not say it's based on birth. He says guna karma vibhagasa, according to guna and karma, quality and work, the nature. Apart from Bhagavad Gita, in every society, a man is according to his quality and work. For example, when a man is constructing wooden furniture, he's called a carpenter. And a man who works with an anvil and iron is called a blacksmith. Similarly, a man who is engaged in the medical or engineering fields has a particular duty and designation. All these human activities have been divided by the Supreme Lord into 4 varnas, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. In Bhagavad Gita and in other Vedic literatures, the specific duties of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are mentioned. So we are known based on what work we are doing. And as long as it's an honest work, we don't have to be ashamed. No work is high, no work is low. Each of us is differently inclined, and each works. And Krishna says, work for my pleasure, honestly. One should work honestly according to his qualification. He should not earn his livelihood unfairly by means for which he is not qualified. We tend to think, oh, someone who's doing some highly skilled job, so he is so we make discrimination like that. And if someone is just honestly just sweeping the street, honestly trying to do whatever humbly because that's all he can do, and so then we look down, but that's not what Krishna has made it as. No, he says you do honestly whatever you can do. We just put this artificial thing that, oh, if someone is having a big title, and that person might be engaging in all wrong things. And we will put him on a pedestal, and whereas someone is doing something very honestly, a manual labor, and we are going to disrespect that person. That's not what Krishna says. No, each work, we need to respect everyone. Everyone should be respected. But we should work honestly. If a Brahmana who works as a priest so that he may enlighten his followers with the spiritual way of life is not qualified as a priest, then he's cheating the public. One should not earn by such unfair means. So if I'm not qualified to be a Brahmana, if I'm not qualified to teach about the absolute truth to others, then I shouldn't do it. Because then I'm being dishonest. The same is applicable to a Kshatriya or to a Vaishya. It is especially mentioned that the means of livelihood of those who are trying to advance in Krishna consciousness must be very fair and uncomplicated. Here it is mentioned that he who earns his livelihood by unfair means, kevalena, is sent to the darkest hellish region. Otherwise, if one maintains his family by prescribed methods and honest means, there is no objection to one's being a family man. So the point is, honestly, we should work according to the scriptures. And the result of our work, a certain percentage of our work should be given to the Krishna consciousness movement. Then our work gets purified. Our consciousness gets purified. We get spiritual benefit by doing that. Any questions or comments? Well, then we'll stop here for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for